everyone, it's Sharada from Payroll Waits, and today I'm going to be reviewing P-Valley Season 2, Episode 4, Demetrius, y'all. And I know what you're thinking. Sharada, where the hell you been? Where you been? We 4 episodes in and you haven't been nowhere to be found. And y'all, I wish I could tell y'all the true backstory to the backstory as to why my coverage has not been here for P-Valley. But you know what, we're going to stay there for the family conversation behind closed doors. But just know it's for a purpose, okay? But I couldn't stay away from my family too long. So let's go ahead and jump into this week's episode. We see that the episode opens up and Miss Lauren, y'all. Miss Lauren, the one who was passed out, who got wasted last season when she got divorced. And she spent her whole, she was trying to spend her whole divorce settlement at the strip club. That's the same Lauren. But what I will say, you know what Miss Lauren said? Miss Lauren said, ain't no Miss Rona. Ain't no Amorion trying to get in the way of me with my ass and titties, okay? Miss Lauren was double masked, okay? Had the 2 masks on, had the gloves on at the same time, and on top of that, Miss Lauren had her face shield. What's that? What's that? Actually, no, I'm gonna go to hell for saying that. But yeah, I'm gonna go to hell for that. It's okay. Let me just go ahead and go with my train of thought because I know my daddy gonna be watching. He gonna be snitching to my mama. So we see that she was just making sure that she was gonna put money back into the community, you know, put money back into the girls' wallets and stuff. And so she was getting her best life, y'all. But then when they start taking her mask off and stuff, I said, baby, what y'all taking the gloves off for? What you taking the mask off for? They ain't stopping you from getting your dollars, so why you removing her layers of protection? It wasn't making sense to me. But then when old girl had the little blue eyes, and I felt like she was putting the vex on me because I was staring in the eyes, and the eyes were staring back at me, and I was about to go look for some money that I didn't have to throw back at her. I was like, you know what? I don't know what type of stuff that you got going with them good contacts that you got going on. But I said, you know what, Miss Lauren, you're going to have to get the hell up out of there. But it was too late because she done went to the boom boom room. And then while she was in the boom boom room, Toy, who always got these damn allergies. And you know what? I feel like we owe Toy an apology. Because as someone who was a sickly child and I had asthma and I always was congested and people used to make fun of me, I felt that in my spirit. I said, y'all should not be treating Toy like that. But I was also very confused why, if you know you always sneezing and people gonna be looking at you crazy during a panty, why would you take your mask off, then take her mask off, and then you go sneeze in front of her face? Baby, when I saw all of them spit particles going into her face and her mouth was open, her eyes was open, she didn't have no protection, honey, I was ready to go through the screen and fight Toy myself. So Miss Lauren got real upset, y'all. And that was an understatement. Miss Lauren, she done went and found her gloves and then threw all parts over the club. She done found her mask and everything and her face shield and then put it back on. She done set the whole pink down. She said, I'm closing it down. I didn't forgot that she didn't work for, she worked for the health department. I forgot that Miss Lauren was working for the health department since she just been in the pink this whole time. She shut the whole thing down. The whole thing down, okay? And so she basically ends up telling them, she was like, I'm finna break you like this MF'er. She got on the club, told everybody get the hell up out of the club. Then she got this ruler to show people what 6 feet mean. And even when she was saying like, ain't nobody got no mask on, and Uncle Cliff was about to be like, look at all these people. And I was like, no, because they're definitely taking their mask off right now. I was just like, how was it safe? It disrupted my spirit. The whole scene, it just disrupted my spirit. So she's basically saying like, y'all got to get the right filters for the AC. But I was kind of confused because they was like, where we gonna find the money to do to upgrade the AC? But I was like, baby, riddle me this, because everybody was sweating, okay? And I know people was working hard for the money, but it didn't look like the AC was on anyway. So I was just like, that money that you needed, like the AC wasn't giving the AC in that it needed to be AC in, and everybody was sweating to the point where I started sweating. I had to go turn my AC down because the heat that they were projecting through the TV screen came through my screen and I was hot. Okay, so I was just confused why they said the AC was working anyway, but they had 24 hours to go ahead and correct the violations. She wanted to charge them a $25,000 fine, but then they realized that they were like, hold on, ho, I know you. They didn't call it no ho, but I'm just saying. They was like, I know you. You was the one here who spent your divorce settlement for cheating on their husband with their mama. And I was like, his mama? You was smashing your mother-in-law? You was smashing your mother-in-law, and then as the son, like, are you friends with your mother after that? Like, she didn't took your girl, okay? When they say Mrs. Steal your girl, they're gonna say Mama steal your girl, okay? So I was like, wow, not his mama. I didn't remember them revealing that type of information in season 1, but we end up seeing that Roulette got into it with Brazil. Brazil was talking all that smack. But at first, honestly, Roulette started the whole thing. And then Roulette was like, and then Brazil was like, hold on, Roulette, because for someone who got a whole nickname talking about, what did he say last episode? Talking about that girl with them dick sucking lips. Once again, if my father is watching, do not be showing this to mama. I'm just repeating what the people said in the TV show, so I don't want to hear nobody's mouth, and I don't want no intervention between my mama and my grandma tomorrow because you didn't show her something that I told you not to show her, okay? So she started talking smack, and then I was like, but Brazil wasn't lying though, and Roulette, you was the one who started the whole argument in the first place. So she hit Brazil, and I just want to say thank you. I just want to say thank you to the writers of this episode. The fact that you played whoop that trick, okay? Now, typically, I'm a nuck if you buck type of gal. But the fact that you played whoop that trick while Roulette was whooping that trick, and then you had old girl come and say, them girls are fighting! Y'all, let's just have a moment to really appreciate the ratchetness of all of that. It just blessed my soul. It just made my heart smile. And then later in the episode, for us to get the two women, Miss Hazel and Geronda, who both deserve a Nobel Peace Prize for making me laugh all these years later, the fact that you played homage to that. If you guys have not seen Hazel and Geronda, and I think that was actually Hazel and Geronda when they showed the news clip of them fighting after the pink, okay? Because, baby, they put Bella Noche on the map, okay? If y'all have not seen that video, go to YouTube and watch it. But I just want to say that the writers were working overtime writing this episode, and it just, and it's bless my soul. Let me stop, because I know y'all hate when I be singing, because y'all not ready to hear the voice of an angel. But yes, it did that for me. Now, they ended up pulling Roulette off, and then I think Big L? I feel like it was Big L. Yeah, Big L pulled her, was talking to her, and then was just like revealed she used to be a wrestler. And you can tell that Roulette's been having like a tough time. You don't really know what's going on, but you can tell that there's some like secrets that Roulette hasn't really expressed yet. And so they're having this conversation. Now, why did they call Duffy Eminem? Because now I was going to refer to him as Eminem because he tried to call her out like, I saw what you was doing getting up out of that dude's car. And then she was like, and what was you and Eminem doing? And I said, ma'am, I can never unhear this and unsee this. So now I have to call Duffy Eminem for the rest of the time that P-Valley is on air. So we see that Raggedy Patrice Woodbine is running for mayor. She announces her candidacy, and then she says, vote to the hell to the no for the casino, which obviously Mercedes is over it. She's just like, why can't y'all see my mother to be the devil that she is? For some reason, she is a wolf in sheep's clothing, and nobody can see this outside of Mercedes, and so she's having a tough time with it. But we do see that, Mississippi and Lil Murder, they're on their tour, and we see that she has her eyelash deal. Now, all I gotta say is, in P-Valley about their money, they need to go ahead and release them, M-I, cricket letter, I, humpback, okay, I'm sorry. But if they're about their money, they need to go ahead and release the lashes so we can go ahead and start wearing them, because I'm just saying, I'm a lash gal. Okay, I got my drama lashes on right now because of all the drama that happened in this week's episode. But I will say Mississippi was right. They did lighten her up a little bit, and I was very confused by that because she's beautiful the way she is with the complexion that she has now. So I was just confused as to why we had to lighten her up. But yeah. But we see that Gidget came back, and Gidget got on my nerves for the entire episode. And let's just talk about the whole portion of the trip, because Tweek was, Tweek ain't been right since Tweek been in jail, and he's been having a tough time already. Got into the fight, knocked the dude out. So they're on this part of the road trip, and then we hear that there's yet been another person that's been killed by the police. And so this kind of sets off a ripple effect between many of our characters, but most notably between Tweek and also too with Roulette, which we see in a later conversation as Roulette gets upset as she sees the news as they're trying to work on the pink, where we realize why the episode is titled Demetrius, because her brother was wrongfully killed by the police. They tried to say that He had a broken taillight, which is a common thing that they use to pull over people. If you even think about it, the timing of this episode, the fact that I was just watching the news, and I think it's in Florida, where they just implemented a new rule where if they can hear your music blasting 25 feet away from your car, that they can not only fine you, but this is going to be another thing that police use in order to kill people. And ironic for them to do this in Florida if we think about the young teen that was killed because the music was playing too loud out of his car. And so you see that Roulette is immediately reminded of her brother. And it really made me upset when Eminem saw her crying and he was like, "Are you okay? Beach, do it look like she okay? Is she not crying? Eminem, is she not crying?" But the whole conversation when she was just like, y'all always get away with that stuff. Like, y'all always get away with it. There's never any repercussions. And when we see, it really bothered me in the scene where we see everyone is trying to diminish what has happened, right? It's almost to the point where we hear these things that happen so much about this police brutality, about them continuously murdering us. And it's become so normalized that it almost doesn't affect us. You see the difference of how everyone reacts that's on tour with Lil Murda in Mississippi, how Mississippi's manager, he's not fazed by it. He doesn't really care. They like, we trying to get crunk, get just sitting up there like, oh, let's turn up. And I'm just like, y'all don't hear them saying that there's like a curfew, that there is violence happening, that there's protests happening, because people are continuously getting murdered, and to some people, it doesn't matter. Now, what upset me about Gidget's involvement in this episode was the fact that when we see them get into the altercation in the hotel room, and we see how first they gaslight the hell out of Tweek. And especially they see how he's affected by it, and he's making these, like, this stuff keeps happening. Like, why am I the only person who wants to hear this? You know, they keep trying to change the radio station, turn the TV off. They keep, like, antagonizing him and then trying to say that he's crazy because he's actually affected by what's happening. Now, was Tweek's response to everyone the best response? It wasn't. But they were also antagonizing him. They were gaslighting him. And when Gidget tried to get in his face, I was like, Gidget, what are you doing? Why are you even in this? Like, that was the wrong time. Like, I know that she was getting upset because Mississippi was triggered by kind of him smashing the table, because she has heard the whole things that she's going on with her and her baby's father at home. But I was like, Gidget, it was not your place to get involved. Why are you even saying anything? Go sit your ass down and go comfort Mississippi, or take her to another room. Go do something else but get into a man's face trying to like I just don't understand why you was, this wasn't the time. This was one of those read the room moments. And so that's why I was happy when Mississippi sent her home, and she was just like, you just can't have that type of conversation around everybody. And because Gidget isn't affected by police brutality, like, it like never once crossed her mind like what all of these black people around her like might be going through. And even for there's black people that you see with Mississippi's manager, who he really irks my nerves. It's just something about him that just feels so greasy, so slimy, so disrespectful. He just really bothers my spirit. You know how you just look at somebody, be like, he fine, but he a creep, and that's how I feel when I look at him. But we see that, I like how she made that comment, because she kind of realizes, like, you know, Gidget my girl, but like in situations like this, she's causing more harm than good at this moment. And so we see that Tweek and Lil Murda have a moment, which I actually didn't see it going this way. I just thought that they were really cool homeboys. And I don't know if this is the first time that they had sex, or did they have a relationship before. I didn't know what was happening, but I will say, first of all, thank you y'all for showing them condoms, because some of these shows don't be showing condoms when people be having sex, and you know, we be having problems with that. So I was happy that they showed that. But I was like, this was a really steamy scene. I was like, okay, I see y'all trying to like have like real sex on TV, because you know, they be doing that wax sex where you see them kissing and they're like cussing them in bed. I was like, okay, he done got the condoms, he done got the lube. That might be too much for people to hear, but I'm just saying what I'm saying. I was like, I see what y'all did there. But I was upset because I said, Lil Murda, why are you blowing someone else's back out that ain't Uncle Cliff? And you've been sitting up here telling Kashawn, like, I love Uncle Cliff, but now you smashing somebody else. So when Lil Murda woke up, and then I saw Tweek sitting in the window staring out into the sunset, holding his postcard, I said, oh snap. He said, hold on now, wait a minute, correct me if I'm wrong, but memory serves me correctly. I I was locked up, I wouldn't get no postcards from you. So who the F is Cliff? And where are my postcards? Where are the postcards that I was supposed to be getting, huh? So I'm just really confused myself. I don't know what's going to happen between them, but it seems like things are going to be a little bit tense right now because who you love? Because that didn't feel like just no regular smashing either. That felt like it was something there. Like there were feelings. There were feelings there, but I will say Tweak was speaking some truth, and I totally like went out of order for this entire review because I got so upset that Lil Murder was cheating on Uncle Cliff like this. Even though they're not together, they together, so he's still cheating. I don't care what nobody say. You can argue with me in the comment section. I don't care. But when he made that comment saying like it doesn't matter. Now I did thought he was gonna break out in the song when he was saying. I was like, oh, this probably be real good on the beat, like talking about what types of N-words. But when he said it doesn't matter what type of N-word you are because you're still a menace to society, so you might as well prove them right anyway. And that I was like, oh yeah, because it's like at a time like it doesn't matter what we do. Like people will talk about the respectability politics. If you dress a certain way, if you talk a certain way, if you carry yourself a certain way, that is going to change how they see you, and it doesn't matter. So I really like that line that they wrote. The writers was writing. They was writing. But y'all listen to the dialogue because they was writing in this episode. Let's also go to the contrast of this. We might as well go to the, actually no, let me go ahead and talk about Andre and Brittany, okay? So Andre, homeless Obama, like I like to call him homeless looking Obama. So basically he decides he wants to run for the mayor of Chucalissa. And he goes home to see his wife. He come with his little cheap bottle of champagne, talking about, honey, I'm home. And I'm just like, sir, you were sitting here playing video games while your wife was exposing herself to COVID and you didn't care enough to wear a mask the whole time. You wasn't taking nothing seriously, and then you come like, honey, I'm home all of a sudden. But he heard some commotion, okay? He heard something going on in the boom boom room upstairs in his bed, and we saw that Brittany was going ahead and doing some type of exam on Dante, okay? So then Andre busts in, what you do with my wife? And then I'm looking like, ooh, Brittany, go. I was like, get it, Brittany, get you some, girl. And then I was just confused because Brittany started putting her clothes on. I said, girl, what you putting your clothes on? They both just seen you naked at this point. What are you getting your clothes on for? But y'all want to know the part that really took me out? The part that really took me out is when she said, Andre, your mask. Bitch, what? You sucking a whole other man's pee and you gonna sit up here and worry about some COVID safety? And you didn't have this pee in your mouth? Huh? Whoever wrote that, I was dying. I had to pause it. I said, hold on, she did not ask Andre where his mask was. I was just very confused by that. But I was on Brittany's side because he been disrespecting this woman since the first time I seen him on this show. I was okay with it. I don't condone cheating, okay? But sir, you thought that you was gonna be the only one getting some? You over here with Haley, little raggedy ass, getting some. You thought your wife wasn't finna get some from Dante? But whoever was working the camera, I was kind of like, can y'all lower the camera because I need to see what we working with, because we saw what Andre was working with already. So I need to see what Dante was working with so I can see if I can go ahead and approve, okay? But Brittany loses her sting because then when she when he tells her like, I came to ask my wife about being a mayor of Chucalissa, I said, well, you didn't ask your wife about leaving to go to Chucalissa, like leaving your family. So I don't see why all of a sudden you getting approval now. I mean, that's what a husband should do. But I was just really confused as you trying to make her feel bad. Like you haven't been selfish this whole time by staying there and your family's here. It just wasn't making sense to me. But you couldn't even remember to get her the damn milk that she wanted while she trying to save lives. But she was wrong for being like, she had a point, but then she lost it when she was like, and you think you gonna win? I was like, girl, you can't say that. Don't say that, girl. Don't do that. So they beefing now, but they need to go ahead and call it quits. But we could tell that Andre had some insecurity about Dante because we find out that Dante, he was bringing up Jack and Jill, little Jack and Jill programs, how the parents wanted her to marry Dante. So he was already coming from a place of insecurity with this already. But let's talk about the other crazy moment of the episode. So Mercedes, and I think her name is Farrah, the coach's wife. I mean, I saw the tension. Because, baby, when she was ready to get that threesome popping, I said they're definitely going to start smashing on their own. It's just inevitable. And when she started taking the pictures and stuff, now Mercedes' ass was assing, and when she was doing the little tricks, I was like, it's okay, Farrah. I understand. I get it. I really do get it. So I don't know what's going to happen, but at least, you know, Farrah still pays her. So does Mercedes get double for being with the coach and the wife? It's only right in that way. But we see that Farrah actually texted her like she was the coach, but she knew the coach was going to be gone the whole time anyway. So I don't know how that relationship's going to play out. It ain't going to end well. And I wonder how the coach is going to feel with the wife smashing behind his back. I mean, he shouldn't care, but it also should have been an open conversation. So I don't know what's actually going to happen with all of that. But Farrah do need to be watching how she be talking to her, because she still be low-key trying to like degrade Mercedes because she's a sex worker. And I just am very confused by that whole statement. But when she said, what if I fall? And she was trying to teach her on the pole, and she was like, but what if you fly? I said, oh, let me take my pants off, Mercedes. You talking about what? Let me go ahead and fly. Okay? All right. I'm sorry, y'all. But so what else happened this episode? Is there anything else that I really need to like go through and talk about? We then talked about homeless Obama going home and finding his wife. And now Corbin did try to go up there and talk smack to her. And I was like, that's Corbin's white side coming out, how he called her like a B. I said, excuse me, you called her what? And you trying to get me to sell? You think you're going to call me out my name and I'm going to sit up here and buy this sell to you, hoe? What? But then I was also confused. I said, not Haley. You couldn't get no bins, no like storage bins from Target. Like, you had all this money. I know you say the Pink, you spent most of your money, but you didn't have nothing for no bins. You sitting up here still living out of trash bags at the Pink. Like, Haley, come on now, Haley. You can do better than this. But I am happy that they finally chose to make Haley just a villain, because Haley is just not a likable character all the time and has really no purpose outside of really just being a fake villain. So I hope that they lean into her being a villain now that Uncle Cliff and Mercedes heard her talking to homeless Obama about, and the only reason I keep calling him homeless Obama is because Uncle Cliff called him Obama. So Uncle Cliff started, don't be trying to come for me in the comment section. But when he called him a bootleg Obama, but they overheard Haley talking to him about how she's trying to get more money. And because Corbin offered her money, $1 million, she knows that she can get even more. So they basically confronted her about that. And at the end, Mercedes said that Montavia said that you was an easy beach to love, but an even easier beach to hate. I know she felt that. And also, too, are you trying to say that the ghost of Montavia is hunting the Pink? That whole scene, like, I know it might be her being haunted by everything that happened at the Pink at the season 1 finale, but I don't know if they're actually trying to turn it into a whole ghost thing, because they did the root magic thing a couple episodes ago. So that's just my whole little theory there, but don't take it, just don't take it close to heart. So, I did love the tribute that they did at the end to those who we have lost, and those we've lost from police brutality. I really, really enjoyed that. And I'm trying to think, is there anything else that I missed? Did I miss anything else? I don't think I did. I don't think I missed anything else. Oh, we did hear DJ Never Scared on the radio, but that's fine. Patrice Woodbine did have a good speech, though. I ain't gonna lie. Like, she ain't ish, but she know how to give some speeches, y'all. She know how to give some good speeches. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I like this episode. And also, too, random side note, the fact that when you see Lil Murder and Tweak having sex or making love, because I don't care what nobody say, they was making love. Like, that wasn't just no sex. And you still hear the sirens. And it just makes you think, like, every time that we hear about this police brutality happening, the protests happening, how we still have to continue on with life. And so I like that little touch of them still adding the sirens into that scene. I still really enjoyed that. And I think that from a writing standpoint, they found a very good way to still have drama, but to have these real messages that are happening. We see this through Tweak as he's listening to the news while everything is going on. I do like that, and how they just have all this little comedy from from Cliff calling them Wakanda and Grandma calling him T'Challa, Godfrey T'Challa, then saying that he got a white name because his name is Godfrey. I like how they balance all of that, how they balance the whole thing, having Hazel and Geronda with the news thing, and then the girls are fighting. I thought it was well balanced. Like, there was craziness happening, but when it needed to be serious, the episode was serious, and when there needed to be drama happened, and it didn't feel like too much. So I really liked this episode. I really did. Lil Murder still ain't Ish Pacino, Uncle Cliff. I don't care what nobody got to say, but overall, I like this episode. I'm very excited to talk about next week's episode with you guys as we get backstory into Kashan's life. So yeah, I will talk to y'all next week. But those are my quick thoughts. Ain't no damn quick thoughts. This video almost 30 minutes long. But those are my thoughts on P-Valley Season 2, Episode 4, Demetrius. As always, my name is Sharana from Para Waits, and if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit that notification bell. And I love you guys 3000. And until I see you again, bye.